Hello students, welcome. In this video, we are going to discuss about electrical and electronics engineering. As you know, electrical and electronic engineering are very old branches and yet they have not reached saturation. And of course, there is a confusion about the wordings also. Some IITs offer electrical engineering and some offer electronics engineering. For example, IIT Madras, IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, they offer electrical engineering. But when you go to IIT Kharagpur, like IIIT, Hyderabad and other things, they offer electronic engineering. We need to understand the difference also. So anyway, first of all, I want you to understand in this video, you have to have three takeaways. Number one, what are the things you will study in these branches when you go to graduation? That's first thing. Second thing is when you complete your graduation, where do you contribute? Which fields you will be working on? The third thing is whether your personality will be suited to this particular stream or not. We'll have to understand that. Okay, let's get into the details. First thing, let's look at certain myths. An electrical engineering graduate can fix any electronic device. That's not necessary. As I told you, this branch is so old and it has been developed very vastly. There are so many domains in it, right? One particular engineer cannot have the understanding of everything. You might do a certain specialization in one domain, but the problem that is involved there might have some other things to take care of. So probably you may not be in a position to completely solve that particular problem if you're in electrical engineering. Probably you can go through YouTube and understand how to fix that particular thing. So that is one thing you need to look at it. Yeah. The next myth is an electrical engineering and electronic engineering are two different streams. That's something that students tend to have a feeling, but that's not the case. If you observe, this is the physics. So please understand these two branches are involving physics. They are subdomains of physics, application of physics. Within physics, you will study about electric currents, right? Movement of electrons in the circuit. And that's what electrical engineering about. And then within that, you have a sub branch, which is electronic engineering. So electrical engineering has become so big, within that certain division has become very important very recently of the last 50, 60 years. That's why they had to divide it into separate branch and then work on it. That's how it is. So if you see electronic engineering is a subset of electrical engineering. So electrical engineering guy will study about electronics. But if you go to electronics, probably you will be having additional emphasis on certain special subtopics where you will be having a little more in-depth understanding. So that's a basic idea. Next, the third one is an electrical engineering graduate has both hardware and software job opportunities. This is one thing generally students tend to have. Even many professionals also tend to believe so. So I want to clear about that. First of all, let's look at the courses that are being studied. There are some courses which are studied by electrical engineer and there are some courses which are studied by computer science engineer. But there are certain set of courses which are common to both, which both of them study. Because of that overlap, we have this particular idea that one can go to the other stream. So if you look at the courses which are common here, calculus, physics, linear algebra, differential equations, these are basic math and physics. Every engineer should study about it. After that, you go into digital logics. And I think even in 11th, 12th class, you will study about logic gates, and it is a extension to that. Microcontrollers, signals and systems. This particular one is considered to be very tough subject, one of the tough courses there. Anyway, computer programming as an electrical engineering, also you should have certain basic understanding. That's where this overlapping comes. And of course, circuits is something that you have to understand, whether it is electrical engineering, computer science engineering, or even IT engineer also, you should have some basic understanding of circuits. That's why all these branches are called circuitry branches. Electrical, electronics, computer science, and IT related things. So because of this overlap, there is always a possibility that an electrical engineering guy can get some interest about this computer programming and all that, thereby transition to computer science. That's always a possibility. But if you look at the job scenario, right now the situation is not so good. There is a slowdown in the job opportunities right now. So if you are in a top universities like top IITs, then yes, this statement is true. In addition to computer science engineers, even electrical engineering guys also can sit with IT jobs and software engineering jobs. Along with them, there are some sufficient number of jobs there. But if you go for a lower ranking institutes, probably local colleges or private colleges, there you have a lot of computer science engineering guys only. Almost 50% of the seats floated by private engineering colleges will be computer science. They are only not able to get their jobs completely. So after that completing and then getting electrical engineering guy getting in a job of IT, it's very, very tough. So if you are in a lower ranking colleges, this statement may not be correct. But if you are in a top ranking colleges, yes, there is a possibility for electrical engineering guy to get into computer science stream as well. So that's an important statement. Okay. Next thing is you may have this idea that electrical engineering is harder than IITJEE advanced preparation. Some people say that. That's not necessarily true. I personally feel that it is not true. IITJEE advanced preparation is much tougher than IIIT, EE engineering. Then why do we have this? See, I studied my BTech from IIT Madras. When we were there around, this electrical engineering guys, they used to scare us a lot, saying that these professors are very strict. So EE is very tough. IIT Madras, meaning electrical engineering, one of the toughest courses. They used to say that. See, that is there. Within the graduation, if you comparing, if you compare electrical engineering with mechanical or computer science or other branches, if you compare, definitely electrical engineering is relatively tough. But you can't compare electrical engineering with IITJEE preparation, which is much, much harder. So I wanted that also to be clear to you. All right. Next, we'll go into the course map. What is that you will be studying when you go to electrical engineering? This is the foundation classes. This is what you will be studying in first year. So in first year, all engineering graduates study more or less the same topics. When you go to second year, you will have that core related job courses also. So here for electrical engineering guys, mainly mathematics and physics are important. You will study chemistry also, but that is not going to have an additional impact as you go on further as much as you have in mathematics and physics. So in math, algebra and calculus, you will have to study a lot. And in physics, of course, as I said, physics is like a superset of electrical engineering. So you will study a lot about electricity and magnetism. That's the core, the heart of electrical engineering branch or electronic engineering branch. And then you will study a bit of mechanics. Definitely you need to understand the strength of materials and all that designing part. Thermodynamics is also a very important aspect when you especially go into powers generation, power systems and all that. Even otherwise also thermodynamics is a very important branch. And thermodynamics is important for every engineering, even civil engineering, mechanical engineering also guys should have that good understanding of it. And semiconductors is a very important topic for us. Semiconductors is core of all the electronic devices like diode, transistors, and integrated circuits and amplifiers and so on. So semiconductors is one important topic. That's where you'll be studying a little bit of quantum mechanics also. These are the basic foundational classes. Then when you go to second year, that's where you'll be going into your core related courses. And the circuit analysis, of course, you would have studied in 12th class, even in 10th class, you would have studied resistor, capacitor, inductor, and then you will have diode, transistors and all that, a little bit at least. So circuit analysis is very important, foundational. You will be studying a lot of methods and ideas. And after that, we'll study about electronic devices and how do we use them, how do we design them, how do we control them and all that you will study. Signals and systems is a very important topic where how do you convert a picture or a voice or a video into a signal, electric signal, which can be transmitted without noise, and how do we increase the attenuation and so on. This is also very important part. Electromagnetics. So what kind of waves we use? Do we use radio frequency, RF waves or microwaves for transmission of the signal from one place to other place? Antennas, satellites and all that. So that's a very interesting topic. As a physics teacher, definitely it is interesting for me. So if you have to have interesting, only then you can go on to it. If you don't have the interest in the particular thing, it will be very tough for you to go on further. So once you complete these core courses in the most probably second year, then when you go to third year and beyond, you will pick on the specializations, right? And the specializations are digital electronics, analog electronics, power electronics, communications and electronics and so on. Digital, like for example, your watch is digital, or maybe traffic signal is using digital controller just to control the timing of the signals. So similarly, analog electronics is something similar to a watch with a needle. And power electronics, of course, you know, power energy, generation of electric power, maybe thermal power plant or hydroelectric plant or nuclear plant. And after that, how do you transmit it to different places? So that high voltage engineering, that is something you'll be studying when you go into power electronics. And communication electronics, as you know, how do you communicate across the globe, across the between the computer systems and mobile phones and so on. That is also another important thing you will be studying. So this is the basic life of electrical engineer or electronic engineering guy. Electronic meaning mostly you'll be focusing on digital one and communication system. Electrical guy can take up all of them, but electrical guy mostly they will be focusing on these two things. So this is the course that you will be studying. After studying it, where do we go? Where do we apply these things? So that let's look at it. Circuit analysis. Of course, this is a basic thing that you will be doing. Of course, you would have done a little bit of this in 12th class itself. These are some miniature circuits where we'll use logics to give controls and so on. And this is like a logic gate circuit. You would have seen that in 12th class preparation. Circuit analysis, you will have to have a proper basics. And after that, you go on to the application of it. The first one is power electronics, where you will be studying big circuits, high voltage circuits and so on, big transformers and so on. In addition to conventional energy generation, you also have to study about other things like clean energy, like solar panels, wind energy also you may be interested to work on. Then you have communication system, you know about satellite communication, we have FM, AM, radio communication and so on. After that, once the signal is received, how do you eliminate the noise, all right? How do you improve the quality of the voice, picture and so on? So that is also one more important thing that you'll be focusing on. So next, especially when you're dealing with some high traffic related things and wherever there is a safety important things are there. As example, aerospace, right? An aircraft is continuously in communication with controller room. So that controls, if you are sitting in with the pilot, the big control panels you will have, a lot of things will be indicated there. So the controlling is very important aspect that you will be focusing on. And then integrated circuits is one thing that you will be using in mobile phones and laptops, TVs. So these ICs and all, that is another thing that you'll be working on. So manufacturing of the hardware of any electronic device that comes there. Then electronic systems, this is a IC, like for example, NVIDIA is doing a great work now to improve the speed and also minimize the size. And they are doing a great work. And this is one of the most valued company right now at this point in time. They work a lot on this. And of course, this is one biomedical related field that you have, where you will be able to create artificial limbs with electronic controls. And then you have instrumentation. Instrumentation is basically about measuring things, like temperature is measured, or like otherwise, let's say you're sitting in a car, in front of it, you will have a panel there. So whether battery is running out, or whether the fuel is gone or sufficient or not. So some indicators. Or otherwise, you can also have a manless or humanless driving. How do you do that? So you can have a control using which it will be able to identify the direction in which it is going, obstructions if there are any, how does identify that, and sensors and all that. That will be another part that you'll be focusing on. This is called instrumentation. These are the fields you will be working as an electrical engineer. It doesn't mean that you will be working on all across things. Probably one of them you will choose and you will spend your life in that particular domain. So that's about electrical engineering applications when you go into the fields. Then after that, what I did was I went into IIT Bombay website. I went into electrical engineering department there. I just went through their courses, the nuts and bolts of the course. What is that they really teach there? Topics, certain topics. So if you are curious, maybe you can go through the website once again. Otherwise, just have a look at it and try to read it. So a lot of words will be thrown at you. Some of the words you may not understand, but this is what you will be studying about. Wireless communication, microwave, RF meaning radio frequency, and then antenna. Antenna is one thing, receiving signal and sending signal. Signal processing, audio, video, how do you convert that into electric signal, and then how do you demodulate into the original form. Fiber optics is one more thing, like 5G and all we are having. How do you send signal from one place to other place with a maximum efficiency with least distortion? That is one more thing. Photonics is another one where you will study about the physics of light there, photons for communication purpose. Then networks, computer vision is another new technology that's coming out. Media processing, image processing, cables, optical fibers. Space is a medium of communication of signals. That's the whole thing you will be studying about, communication signal processing department. There's a separate department there. Totally, there are 6 departments in IIT Bombay. This is one department which offers these courses. Then second department in IIT Bombay is control and computing. And these guys are offering these kind of courses there. This is what they have written there. And there are the professors, and professors are highly qualified and they have done great work already. They have good communication with the industry also. They have a lot of papers that have been published there. So that's one thing. So automatic control, computational methods for system theory, graph and Metroid compositions. Cryptography is one thing that is related to security. coding. See, you have to study about coding. That's why you will get into merger of computer science as well. Dynamical systems and global basis methods, logic gates, electronic circuits, digital signal, programming, programmable logic, right? That is one more thing, robots and all that. So this is where you will get a little bit of computing. So computing department would offer some computer science courses and also some electronic courses. That's where you will have that overlap happening here. And then you have a power electronic and power system. This is mostly government run. In India, especially power generation is done by government, state government and central governments, primarily state government. So this is what we'll be working with if you are in electrical engineering, focusing on power generation, transformers, electric energy transmission and so on. This is another thing you have here. So transformers, electric motors, generator, high voltage engineering. You will be dealing with extremely high voltage and power electronics. That's what we study about. Electronic system is another department, fourth department that you have here. That's where you'll be studying embedded system design, signal processing, biomedical electronics, as I was talking about artificial limbs and all, electronic instrumentation for measurement of many physical quantities there, and audio speech processing. This is another thing. In this department, they are focusing on this. So electronics, when we say primarily this, probably they'll be doing this, and of course, the other things also you have overlapping here. Then integrated circuits and systems. This is one thing. They have written a lot of things over there. I just copied from there. But few things I'll discuss a little bit. Study and development of microprocessors. You see, microprocessor architecture. So architecture meaning organizing things in a computer. If you open it, there is a big motherboard there. So how do you organize things so that they communicate with each other in the least possible time and maximum efficiency, all right? So how do you organize them? If there is one problem, how is it going to be affecting the other things? So the architecture is one more thing that, of course, even computer science engineering guys will have to study this. Then verification of methodologies, RF meaning radio frequency and millimeter wave, IC designs and communications, navigation, image processing. Navigation meaning, let's say you have road map, something like that when you're going from one place to the other place. So yeah, so that means these are many things. And one interesting thing about this CAD, computer aided design, it is mentioned here, but you know, every engineering guy will have to go through this CAD. So even I was supposed to go there when I was in second year, third semester, we had to have one course here. So that is one thing. Every engineer will have it. VLSI is very large system integrated design that you have. So that is also discussed in this. So this is going to be very interesting one, very vast. So you can go through it and try to understand them. If you have some interest about it, you do a little bit of research, because I don't want to give too much of details on this. That's not the idea of it, but I just wanted to show you what are the departments in IIT Bombay. Then the final one is solid state devices. This is basically physics, quantum mechanics, and also semiconductor devices and all that. How do you use, let's say when you have atoms very far away from each other, you can study them separately. But when they come very close to each other, there's an interaction between them. That's where you have to study a little bit of quantum mechanics very much in detail. So that's about it. You will study. So these are the 6 departments that you have here. Now that you understood a lot of details about what is to be studied and what is that you are going to be working on, now what kind of personalities will be suitable for this particular branch, that also we need to discuss. See, this electrical engineering graduate, all right, they'll be primarily dealing with electric field and magnetic field, and they are not visible. You can't see them. So that means it is very abstract. If you don't have the love for abstract thinking, if you don't enjoy abstract thinking, then you will have a difficulty here. Imagination and abstract thinking, not only for electrical engineering guys, even for computer science, that's also very important thing. Curiosity for deep learning is very essential for any engineer, not necessarily only electrical engineering, because an engineer, whatever they design, there's a lot of things that are going to be dependent on it. A bridge, if it is collapsing, lives will be lost there. A particular website is just shut down for 24 hours, probably a bank will be bankrupt. So a lot of risk will be involved there. So you need to be very, very serious about what you are doing and deep understanding of what the problems will come. So that is very important thing. Any engineer, successful engineer, you need to have that curiosity for deep learning, not the superficial learning. So that's another thing. Of course, electronics and electromagnetics, you must have a basic interest. Suppose when you are a small kid, right, you are interested in opening the mobile phones, or otherwise opening the TV, opening the fan, and try to understand what is there inside. If you have that kind of curiosity, probably you are going to enjoy a bit. At least you don't hate it. You should not hate doing such kind of things. If you don't have that interest or at least natural curiosity about the circuits and all that, breaking things and then fitting them back, right? If you have that kind of things, especially that circuit related things, probably you might be suitable for it. Interest for mathematics, yes, definitely. Every engineering, definitely you need to have a lot of mathematics, and computer science, heavy mathematics required. Even electronics engineering also, if not that much, at least definitely much more than any other branch, you might require that. Interest for mathematics, not level, higher level mathematics, but algebra, calculus. These things you need to have a very good understanding and liking for it. At least you should not hate the mathematics. That's important there. So focus, discipline, and high pain tolerance is becoming very important. It's a buzzword actually now because of the competition that is present all around. So unless otherwise you are in top 10% of your in the stream there, right? It's very tough for you to go upgraded and all that. That's the reason why you need to have that kind of high pain tolerance. Now that artificial intelligence is coming and then it is replacing a lot of jobs there. So a general student who is not having that much interest, they are taking the jobs just for the sake of managing things, right? Probably you'll have a hard time to understand and go on further. Improve upon it. So you need to have that focus, discipline, and high pain tolerance, without which you will not be successful, not just in electrical engineering, any other engineering, for that matter, any field. So these are the general ideas you need to have, and check for yourself now whether you have this kind of personality, whether would I like these kind of things or not. Accordingly, you take a call whether you will be suitable for taking up this particular branch or not. So with that, I'll conclude here. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you got the reasonable information about it. Any more information that you want to have, right? Probably you can do a little bit of research now that onlines are available, many things. So hope that I'll conclude here. Thank you. Until next time, goodbye.